The planet is restless, Captain. They want their podcast. And they shall have it. I'll beam down to the surface. You have the bridge. Captain, that is illogical. These are Trek fans. They will challenge and dissect your knowledge with great emotion. It is a mission fraught with danger, peril, and grave risk. Suggestions? Send in the red shirts.
Ladies and gentlemen, that alarm you hear means the red shirts are back. We just avoided... Jesus.
That alarm you hear is...
That alarm you hear is the captain not knowing what the hell he's doing. Yeah,
How about I try this?
You want? Okay, go ahead.
What did you say? So the alarm means that we back? Is that what you said?
Well, see, in the opening, there's an alarm that you hear. Right. So go ahead.
You sounded like the phone off of Addams Family.
I'm gonna. Okay, we're gonna do this again, but that was basically lifted right from the NME Ricky Gervais, where it says Carl says, "Oh, if this is kept in, it wasn't a good show." Okay, we're gonna start.
So I'll try it now. All right.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, that alarm you hear means that the red shirts are back.
Excuse me, Ensign. Can you get out of the captain's chair, please?
Oh.
You know, you're not Wesley Crusher where you get a field promotion.
I hate him so much.
Okay, we got it. We know this. No, well done, Craig J. The voice you just heard was Craig J., one of my crew members. I am Q Storm. And who else do we have here with us?
Really?
That was your opportunity.
Unknown participant.
That was your opportunity to announce yourself, to make a big entrance, a grand splash.
Please. I'm big sexy. I don't need to make an entrance.
Okay, a little insubordination in the ranks today. But, all right, so we're here. What we're going to
Wait, hold up. Let's talk ranks for a moment.
Here we go.
You have downgraded Craig to ensign, captain.
What do you mean?
Bad about that.
What do you mean downgraded?
Oh, he was never anything but an ensign.
I was just an ensign. Hey.
Well,
and you're the captain. Captain.
Okay, listen. We'll do our own version of this, the TNG episode Lower Decks. And I will have you both apply, take the test for a command status. Of course,
is that right?
One of you will have to send Geordi to his death.
I can do that easy. That's no big deal.
Oh, man, the brother? You're going to send the brother? Wow, okay. All right, that's how you get down.
Hey, look, who can fix the problem with the ship? Him. 1 life versus 1,000 lives. Geordi, you got to go.
Hey, you know what? Actually, that's a good point. Don't be an engineer in Starfleet. Or the worst profession is a doctor, because the doctor is the one that has to go into the sick bay when the guy's got green spots all over his face and worms, Tyrellian worms coming out of his nose and stuff like that.
Well, but if you're Bones and you've got Nurse Chapel to help you out there, so that's always a good thing. Okay,
a little nookie in the that's what you're saying? Oh, in between. Right. Okay, good, nice. So, all right, let's get to it. We have some more news about the soon to come, hopefully, TV show. Well, not TV, online show called Discovery. And the news that's out now is, and I'm reading this from GamesRadar.com. This article came out 2 days ago. We now have a new captain. We have a captain of the USS Discovery. Now, I thought for a while that the captain was going to be Michelle Yeoh, and I thought the main starship was going to be the Shenzhou, but apparently not. They're building a fleet on this new show. We have the Discovery, we have the Shenzhou, where Michelle Yeoh was the captain, and now we have Jason Isaacs as the captain of the USS Discovery, Captain Lorca, Lorca. Now, as you may or may not know, Jason Isaacs, this is the guy, you've seen him. If you don't know him by name, you know him if you see him. He's probably most well known for his role as Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter franchise. His first Hollywood role was Event Horizon, and that starred Sam Neill. And what's your guy's name? I can never remember this brother's name. The new Perry White. Who is that?
I don't know. Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, shit. Cool.
Yeah. The guy with the Michael Strahan teeth. But anyway.
Damn.
He also starred in Armageddon, The Patriot. Now, I remember him from The Patriot, and he was a badass in that movie. He was a bad guy, and he was hardcore. He starred in a movie with Dragonheart, and I believe that was the movie that starred Sean Connery voicing over a animated dragon or a CGI dragon. Anybody remember that one?
Didn't see it.
All right. And he starred in Black Hawk Down. So you guys both know this guy, right?
I know this guy from the Showtime series Brotherhood, where he played Michael Caffey, who was the brother of a Rhode Island political figure, and Michael was a straight-up thug. The show was great. It ended way too soon.
Well, he is known for playing villains.
He was great on that show.
He is a great villain. He's also a little cheeky, as they point out in this article. I'm going to read a quote that he says. It says, sitting in the captain's chair will be none other than Jason Isaacs, although you may know him best as Lucius Malfoy. In a cheeky tweet, Isaacs posted a picture of the iconic chair stating, nice chair, hope it's comfy. So, all right, so he's got a little bit of sense of humor. It'll be interesting to see him play what I'm assuming is going to be a more heroic role. And he's going to be joining a cast. We'll just go through these names once again. Sonequa Martin Green, who will be his number one. Michelle Yeoh, who we already just talked about. Anthony Rapp, Doug Jones, both of them are on the crew. Shazad Latif, I believe he's playing a Klingon, I'm not sure. James Frame, Malik Pancholi, Terry Serpico, and Sam Bartholomeos. And it's going to be produced by Nicholas Meyer. That's a good thing. Vincenzo Natali, I'm not familiar with him. And Akiva Goldsman, I know of his work. Couldn't tell you what he's done, but I know he's been in some quality stuff. Okay, so now that we have our captain, guys, what do you think? What do you think about this guy? What are your thoughts?
Again,
Correct.
I like him. I do. I like him as an actor. He guest starred in an episode of Entourage in the 6th season, where he played a fashion photographer who had a thing for Vince.
Stop. Oh, reverse engines. I watched Entourage. I was a fan of that show. I do not remember that. Run that by me again?
Remember when they went to Hawaii when they met Jamie Lynn Sigler?
I remember them. Yeah, that's Turtle met Jamie Lynn, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Before they went to Hawaii, Vince was doing a fashion shoot for some magazine and was trying to the chick who was modeling with him, and the photographer kept blocking. And they're like, what the fuck? And then Vince tracked the girl down and was like, baby, what's going on here? Oh, the fashion guy has a thing for you, not me. Oh. And so Vince confronted the guy, and the guy asked him flat out, Vince, let me suck your and Vince was like,
God.
No, that's not going to happen.
Well, I don't remember that.
Now I think it was season 5, because it was right before the episode called First Class Jerk. So that's the one. The episode before that is Jason Isaacs playing the photographer with a thing for Vincent Chase.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the X-rated version of Red Shirts today.
Oh, no.
Red Shirts After Dark.
Listen, I'll be bleeping this, but every time I go through that, Big Sexy always manages to slip one through the goalie. I don't know how he does it. That is, I'll have to look that up. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So, Craig, let's get your thoughts on what do you think about this casting?
You know, I don't have too many thoughts. They're obviously all very good actors and method actors, of course, and I'm sure they will do a great job. I'm just looking forward to them finally wrapping this up and getting some episodes out so we can start seeing it. Then we can have our opinions.
And listen, you bring up a good point. What's the saying? There's a saying, a political saying, I believe. What if they staged a revolution and no one came? Something like that.
Oh yeah.
So what if they cast an anticipated series and it never premiered? Because once again, the premiere date seems to have been pushed off again.
There got a lot of issues over there in production. What is going on with these guys?
I don't know, but it just says, and this is again, this is from GamesRadar.com, dated 2 days ago. It says here, update, March 10th, 2017. Discovery's captain confirmed, but premiere has been delayed once again. What is going on? I mean, I hate to say this. I know they want the quality to be good and they want to take as much time as possible, but it's the same shit we keep hearing. We don't know when it's going to happen, when it's going to air. I mean, any thoughts? It's not like Star Trek is that hot of a commodity right now when you've got all these other properties out there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I disagree because for the last, since like, 87, there's been a Star Trek on for pretty much every year until the end of Enterprise. So I think CBS wants to get on this, especially to pimp their new streaming service. I forgot the name of it. So I think they want to get that out there, and Star Trek will definitely attract a large initial viewership. So they got to get this thing together. I mean, I don't know what's happening over there, but they keep changing things and doing different little tweaks to it instead of just sitting down and shooting it and getting it out there.
I'm okay with them delaying it. As long as they're going for a quality product, which obviously they are.
As long as they get it right.
I think they want to make sure they don't annoy the original fans. They don't annoy the new fans. They've got a nice balancing act they need to play, and maybe they have decided so far they have not played it properly yet. So they keep doing tweaks, and I'm fine with that.
But I just think that if you keep doing this, you're going to generate negative buzz, and that can't help the property.
Well, a perfect example of that is the whole buzz around Iron Fist.
Exactly. I was going to
mention
mention
dead in the water pretty much now, man.
Exactly, and how bad would it be if they screen this to critics, and the critics give that type of reaction? So you got a delayed production date. Although they did delay. Did they delay Rogue One? I know they did a little bit. They did a lot of reshooting. So I guess that's in this production's favor, because Rogue One, one of my favorite movies of last year, that came out last year, yeah. But now let me throw this out. I'm going to read this. This is a problem for me. They don't really source this very well. Let me read the whole thing. It says, just when we'll see him, referring to Isaacs, just when we'll see him grace that chair is still up for debate, though. Variety is reporting that the debut has been pushed back again to an unspecified time in late summer. And, okay, first of all, don't debut anything in the summertime. People are on vacation, for God's sake. But moving on. And I quote, CBS chief Morgan Stanley stated the new series requires a lot of post-production and that it's important to get it right, as Star Trek is the family jewels of its new streaming service. Just as you said, Big Sexy. Now here's where I get troubled. As for the idea that Discovery could bring back characters that have aged or passed away, in a recent interview with Trek movie director Adam Nimoy, that's obviously Leonard's son. He just finished the Deep Space Nine documentary. He states it would be cool to see a version of Spock return to the screen in Discovery. And I quote, he says, I think it's an interesting idea. I loved what they did in Rogue One. I thought it was pretty clever, and I was blown away by it, frankly. He's referring to Grand Moff Tarkin's CGI character. Now, first of all, who started this idea that Discovery was going to bring back characters that have aged or passed away? Second thing is, this happens 10 years before the original series, if I'm not mistaken. So who are they going to be bringing back? Can someone help me with this, please?
Nimoy's talking through his hat. I disagree completely. But that's just me.
I think he would love to see his father's character come back, but they already have his father playing on the Enterprise, so I think that's appropriate. Now,
Wait,
Sarek. Sarek is going to be on, sorry, not the Enterprise, the Discovery. So that's Spock's father. So I think that's appropriate.
exactly.
What?
Well, who are they? They can't bring no one back because no one's come
No,
forward.
it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So this kind of effery gets me concerned. It gets
By
me.
the way, just to correct you, I don't think it was Morgan Stanley talking about this. It was Les Moonves. He's the guy that runs CBS. I don't think it was Morgan Stanley. I think you might have read that wrong there, Mike. Morgan Stanley's a financial firm.
I said I was going to make a joke about that, but I figured most people wouldn't get it. But I'm reading CBS chief Morgan Stanley.
He's
So
I tell you what, this is exactly how fake news starts. People write articles without proofreading their stuff.
you are right. And when I saw that, I'm like, isn't Les Moonves? But maybe he's another chief. I don't know. But that does sound a little questionable. Some alternative facts there.
That's right.
So, all right. Now let's go from the sublime to the trivial. Okay, for me, one of the things about Star Trek is I love the names that they give the starships and the characters. They all have sort of names that just roll off the tongue and give you an idea of strength, like Captain Kirk. Just the alliteration. That's a solid name.
See, that's always been why I like Star Trek better than Star Wars. Yeah, I said it. Star Trek, you have, the Klingon Empire, and on Star Wars, you have, he is a what's that thing?
Gungan.
The little fluffy guys.
The fluffy guys.
A Wookiee.
He's a Wookiee.
Oh no, you mean the Ewoks?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, the Ewoks, please.
Okay.
And
all right.
all the names sound like bodily functions. There's Count Dooku. Oh man, I gotta take a Dooku. Okay. Oh man, Star Trek is better.
Okay, so for all you Star Wars fans out there that are giving us a shot, send all your mail to. Well, we all share the same email, right, Big Sexy?
Yeah, but I still said it.
Okay, all right.
Shout out,
well,
Michael
listen,
D.
This is not a Star Wars podcast, but Han Solo is a dope name. Lando Calrissian is a dope name. It's all good. Anyway. But you had Captain Kirk. You had Captain Jean-Luc Picard. That's
a cool name.
That is a hell of a cool name.
That's a cool name.
Catherine Janeway. That sounds like a woman who
ain't having it.
that sounds like a woman that you want to. Hopefully, she's gonna invite you up for coffee. But she will kick that ass if she has to. I love that name. Then you have Captain. Well, he became a captain eventually, I believe. Commander Sisko. Strong name. Even Captain Archer. Strong name. What do we get now? Captain Lorca. Huh?
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
That sounds like something that you would prepare in a Japanese restaurant on a hibachi grill.
Oh, here we go.
I'll
that hate mail.
I'll have the tuna roll with a side of Lorca. That's what that sounds like to me. Guys,
mail storm.
I mean, does that name do anything for you, Lorca?
No, it does sound weird to me.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and reach way, way back. It sounds like something that T'Pau said on the episode where Spock had to fight Kirk. Remember that one in the original series?
A Mock Time?
Mm-hmm.
That one?
Was that the name of it, a Mock Time? When
That's
Spock had to go back to Klingon when his wife was foul?
That's where he was suffering from, what is it, Pon farr? Yeah.
Pon farr.
It's the one that Jim Carrey brilliantly redid in The Cable Guy.
Ah, okay, all right. I have to check that out again. But yeah,
that's when he goes into the Knight's Ring and he fights Matthew Broderick's character. But
I remember
he does the music from that exact fight scene, and they do the same moves and everything.
Right.
Brilliant.
They were in a Renaissance fair or something, right?
Please, can we have more Jim Carrey? Please come back, Jim.
It was a restaurant, I think. Was it a restaurant?
He was at a medieval Renaissance restaurant.
Medieval themed restaurant. Yeah.
Medieval times.
All right. You want to play rough? Daddy can play rough! It's like when Spock had to fight Kirk on Star Trek. Best friends forced to do battle. Captain, this isn't funny. Will you stop it? The name is Spock. If we don't battle to the death, they will kill us both. This isn't Star Trek!
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey's done.
No, he's not done. He needs to come back.
But he's got the Mel Gibson beard going, and wasn't he accused of?
Forget it.
Wasn't he accused of murdering his girlfriend or something? Or
What?
Yeah,
like
that was crazy.
Okay. Anyway, I don't want to.
Maybe that's he's a new cast member on the Discovery.
That's okay. I'm good. You know what? I saw him. We're getting off topic here, but I saw him on Comedians in Cars getting coffee. Seinfeld's Crackle show. He was the one of the least funniest guests I've ever seen. He's into art now. He's doing his Farrah Fawcett thing. He's into art.
But come on, the Wrath of Farrakhan was brilliant. You have to admit.
Oh no, no. In his day, he was funny. Fireman Bob or whatever. What was that?
Yeah.
Kind of grotesque, but no, he was funny. But that was in his day. But yeah, Lorca. I was thinking of other names you could give this guy. I was thinking maybe Captain Atlas. What do you think of that?
No.
No?
Nah, I don't know.
Hell no.
Okay. All right.
Corny.
Damn. All right. Well, can you come with something better?
Than Captain Atlas?
Yeah, that does.
Okay,
sound...
give me 1 minute.
Okay. The way you say it, that sounds kind of. It's in the pronunciation. Jesus, the emphasis.
Captain Atlas. No.
It does sound like something from Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess. But so going into my French background, since I do speak some French, the French word for I do. Je parle un peu français. But the French word for fox, as in sly as or clever as or smart as a fox, is renard. Captain Renard. That's a name. That's a strong name, right?
It's better than Atlas.
Well, unfortunately, a character called Captain Renard is already on a show called Grimm, so probably wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh, they can't copyright a name. You can steal names.
It will confuse the audience.
The hell with the audience. This thing's not. By the time this thing comes out, that show will be canceled anyway.
Yeah, it's actually on its last season.
There you go. So, See, yeah, right. So we got it. There's our name. I'm gonna write CBS right now. Get Lorca. That's not working for me. Lorca sounds like you went to SeaWorld to see some killer whales. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
work
it does. It's exactly what it sounds like.
It doesn't work for me. But I'm gonna read some more from this article. It says the Star Trek Discovery plot will continue to push boundaries. Hailing from Hannibal creator Brian Fuller, who is a writer, he's written for Voyager and Deep Space Nine. He says it promises to be a progressive story depicting the adventure of humankind. Well, that's kind of a given. That's what Star Trek has always been. He says, it says Fuller has teased that there's an incident in Star Trek history that's been talked about but never explored, and stated that as a fan himself, it's something he would want to see. So what could it be? But all signs point to it not being the Earth-Romulan War, and neither is it likely to be concerning the Battle of Axanar. Now, I've got to watch that. I'm ashamed to say I've never seen that. That's a fan film that was created. I think it was the focus of all of the friction between CBS saying that fan films can't do X, Y, and Z anymore. Big Sexy, you probably know a little bit more about that.
Nope.
But I have a feeling, Mike, that they didn't get to make that because they got sued. But I believe that Axanar is the name of a real ship mentioned in Star Trek. So I think that's how it goes. But they never got to make the spin-off or the fan film.
Okay. Well, reading on, it says, apparently the new show isn't afraid to deviate from the original premise. That's again, another red flag. Fuller added that Discovery wouldn't stick to episodic storytelling, which suggests the show's keen to adopt broader story arcs that may span several episodes. Now, I'm not mad at that, because I tell you what, Big Sexy, you can call me out. As much as I've clowned DS9, it was a struggle for me to sit down and watch it, but now I look forward to watching the episode, to seeing the next episode. And I think one of the things I will admit that makes that show brilliant is that they've introduced the Dominion in season 3, and I know the Dominion go far into season 5, I believe, and 6.
Oh, yes.
And they've also introduced Odo's lineage in an episode this season. And we discovered that they're the founders. And I don't know if they have admitted that they are backing the Dominion yet. But my point is, I've seen some really good story arcs that have gone over 3 or 4 episodes. So I'm not mad at that.
That's the strength to me of DS9. It tells a complete story, and a lot of the episodes, like you said, are broken up into 3, 4, 5 episode arcs that always call back to each other. DS9 is something you need to watch in order, whereas Next Generation, you really don't need to do that in some spots.
Yeah, Greg, you have any thoughts on that?
I was busy looking up Axanar.
Well, since you left your post, Ensign, at least give us the information that you found.
Yes, they did make a fan film called Prelude to Axanar, and they wanted to make another one, which then CBS stepped in and they blocked it. But I believe that the ship Axanar, or the Battle of Axanar, was mentioned in a previous series of Star Trek, and I was just looking up to see when it was.
So you're saying the Axanar is an actual, that's canon, there is a starship bearing that name?
I believe so. I'll confirm that in a minute.
All right. Well, as you do that, let me just read on here. I find this interesting. Fuller has also said that the Star Trek episode Balance of Terror, in which the Federation, now that's from the original series, we all know, in which the Federation is battling Romulans rather than Klingons, was a touchstone for the Star Trek Discovery story arc. End quote. So that's what Fuller's saying. And then the article goes on to say, this leaves us a bit confused. Now, are they saying they're confused because in the Discovery timeline, they would not have met the Romulans yet? Because we meet the Romulans for the first time in that episode, Balance of Terror, correct?
Oh, is that the one where Sarek played the Romulan captain?
Exactly, yes.
It's a great episode. Is it the first time we meet them, or is it the first time they're acknowledged on screen, but not the first time we've actually had first contact with them?
That's a good question. For some reason, I want to say that this is the first time we see them on screen, but I imagine it's not the first introduction of Romulans.
If that's not the first introduction or first contact, that leaves a whole wide open area for them to explore on Discovery. I'd be okay with that.
Well, see, and the thing is, and this is pointed out in the article as well, the Star Trek Discovery timeline ignores the rebooted movies, which I can't say how much I'm happy to hear that. But so that means if they're going with the Prime timeline, that means, as we saw in First Contact, the Next Generation movie First Contact, what's the guy's name? I should have my Star Trek credentials removed. Cochrane. Zephyrin Cochrane and his crew, they make first contact with the Vulcans after they take their first warp flight. So it stands to reason it's possible, since the Romulans are an offshoot of the Vulcans, it's legitimate to say that once they made first contact with the Vulcans would have brought us humans up to speed about the Romulans, and we may have made contact with the Romulans. Clearly, it didn't go well, since there's a Romulan since there's the neutral zone. But I guess I could buy that the Romulans have already been introduced in when we see the premiere of Discovery. Do you buy that?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, again, if they don't want to take the the task of introducing them through their first contact instead of just coming from a place where they've already got the neutral zone, which means there was beef back whenever, and they're just working through that. I'm okay with that.
Greg, what do you think? Did you get any information, or what do you got?
I've not been able to confirm or deny that Axanar was a ship in the original series, unfortunately. But we'll have to write that in the show notes, I think, there, and confirm this. And or people listening are probably shouting at their iPhones and saying it wasn't. What are you talking about?
I don't believe it was because
I've never heard it before, but don't quote me.
First off, I don't remember there being a lot of dogfights or any reason that we would have seen a lot of ships mentioned in the original series.
Right.
And if it didn't have, if the ship's name was not mentioned in Best of Both Worlds, where they have the conflict of Wolf 359, I tend to think that it's not a part of canon.
Yeah, you could be right about that.
God, I actually know a lot of those ships' names. That's embarrassing.
You do know, or you didn't know?
I do know.
Oh well, you should. The USS Crazy Horse, you gotta love that.
Crazy Horse, the Melbourne, the Kyushu. Oh yeah,
the Kyushu. Wow, I love that. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So here's another interesting tidbit. Star Trek. They point out that Star Trek Discovery's captain will not be the focus of the show, which we knew that going in, I believe. So even though I was kind of complaining about the name of the captain being Lorca, we might not be hearing it that much. This is interesting. They say, speaking of which, if recent rumors are to be believed, Star Trek Discovery's leading character, number 1, may have served on the USS Enterprise with the iconic James T. Kirk.
Number 1, wasn't that Major Roddenberry who played that character?
Not with Kirk.
Yeah. No, you're right. It wasn't with Kirk. It was with Pike.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I want to quickly move into another area, a little bit controversial. Now, you know me, Big Sexy from Podcast Juice. You know how I get down, and I did speak to Craig earlier out of respect.
Here we go. What's going on now?
Here it is.
So I'm going to speak for myself. Okay, now let me put out this caveat. I think Jason Isaacs is a wonderful actor. He's fierce. Okay, that sounds a little funny when I say that, but he's
fierce, girl.
Yeah,
yes, he is.
Okay. I am pro LGBTQ, so I'll say he's fierce. He's an amazing. I've liked him in everything he's done. He's an amazing actor. I will say this. When news first started surfacing about this show, I was under the impression that Michelle Yeoh was going to be the captain, and I thought the main starship was going to be the Shenzhou. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I was excited to see another female captain. I was particularly excited to see an Asian captain, because now we had seen Sulu as captain on Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. We actually saw him as captain in a episode of Voyager, I think it was called Flashback.
Yep, great episode. Just watched it recently.
Yep, where he made a guest appearance. And that episode used the timeline, the timeline of Undiscovered Country. It took place during that timeline, or during that event. But I have to say, there's a small fraction of me that's a little disappointed that we're going back to what we've seen so many times, and that being a Eurocentric male. Not that I have anything against it, but
not there's anything wrong with that.
Not there's anything wrong with that, but one of the things that made Star Trek very interesting was that it broke ground, and it put people in the captain's chair and in command positions that you didn't typically see on TV. So I'm a little disappointed that they went this route again, because I've seen it many times before. Now, obviously Shatner was great, and that was in the 60s. You weren't going to see a person of color or a minority in the captain's chair in the 60s. I mean, that's just the way it was. It was what it was. Then we got Patrick Stewart, He knocked it out of the park. Probably my favorite captain. But then we got a woman, and I'm like, great. And as I've mentioned before, way back in 1984, we had an African American female, Madge Sinclair, although she was on screen all of 5 minutes and her ship got broke down by a whale probe. But that's cool. Then we had Commander Cisco, who was promoted to captain of the Defiant. And then we went back to Archer, but that's fine. I got no problem with it. You know, we came full circle. That's fine. So I must say I'm a little disappointed that we're going back to what we've seen before. Why not break new ground? Why not show us an Asian female? Why not show us a Vulcan captain? Or show us an android captain? You know, what do you guys think about that? Am I on my Wrath of Farrakhan?
Yes. Now, really? I don't know what happened when they announced the show, and they announced, I didn't know that Michelle Yeoh was going to be the captain, which is fine with me. You know, that's good. You know, I think also, in addition to it being, you know, Eurocentric in your phrase, it's a guy. At least they could have made it a woman. Right. You know, of any color. That would have been fine with me just to show that. And again, now, when you think about that, you have a woman captain and a woman, what, is Sonequa like the first officer? Is she number one on this?
That is my understanding.
So you have a woman captain and a woman first officer set pre Roddenberry's show, which opens up for a lot of people, oh, your captain's a woman and your number one's a woman? Ha ha ha! Then they whip their asses. You know, you open up a whole lot of things with that type of premise, whereas instead of, we get the possibility of number one or commander being put in a situation and the captain has to bail her out, which sucks. So I don't know. I think it would have been cool to have a woman captain again, because I thought Janeway was great at it. She really set the standard.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree that the female captains have been really, really good, well cast. Captain Janeway was a great captain. I always saw her as the female Captain Kirk. Same attitude. And yes, it would have been good to have somebody of a different color other than white being the captain of the ship. And all I can say that maybe this is a redeeming quality here is that if we remember, they did say the captain is going to be de-emphasized.
That's true.
So that maybe sort of makes it okay then, because the main character of the story is not white and not male.
And again,
great point.
Again, I have no problem with the captain being cast as such. It's just, you know, I'm always interested in seeing new things, seeing how they could push it. You know, I think it might be a little bit playing it safe, but maybe in these political times they felt the need to do that, which is, you know, a little unfortunate.
Oh, I hope that's not it, because if they made TV shows based on conservatives being in power, I'd actually probably stop watching then. I hope people have got better morals than that.
Okay.
Seriously, you know, why be intimidated by people because they're in power and they don't like it? Screw them. This is a free country.
That is very true. That is very true.
Now, with the captain being de-emphasized, is it possible the captain will be more of a role like Charlie from Charlie's Angels? You know? Yeah, Commander, go handle that. I'll be up here on the deck chilling.
Can you date yourself much?
This show predates Star Trek. Shut up.
Just for those of you who may be young people listening, Charlie's Angels was a 1970s, 1980s.
Charlie's Angels was 2 movies set in the 90s. So there.
Okay. Well, if we have a millennial crowd, the 90s still doesn't mean anything to them.
Damn.
No, but point well taken. I don't want the captain to be that de-emphasized, because the captain is the guy, for me, in Star Trek, who is that dynamic figure who marshals people into battle, inspires, you know, the troops. So I really don't want him to be that de-emphasized. Now, here's another question. I'm going to go there. How delicately do you think they have to dance around the fact that you have a white male captain and an African-American female number one?
What's there to dance around?
Well, I could see the SJWs out there. If he screams at number one just one time, Twitter, Black Twitter even, is gonna blow up.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it. What the hell is an SJW?
Really, Craig? Do you know what the SJW is, Craig?
No, I do not. It seems that we are a bit clueless today on these terms
Apparently,
you're bringing
you're
up.
talking in these riddles, man. What's SJW?
I'm talking like the millennials of today.
I am not a millennial, so help me out.
Well, you either gotta adapt like the Borg. You gotta adapt or die. And SJW, and the term in of itself, it stands for social justice warrior. And the term in of itself is not derogatory, but it's become derogatory because it's widely used. SJW is widely used to describe people who just have fake outrage and get on a high horse and spout all types of politically correct nonsense.
Oh, I hate these people.
So,
yes.
as an example, I don't want to get too off topic, but as an example, I was on Afro Nerd Radio last night, and one of the topics was how Stan Lee, God willing, please do not take Stan Lee from us just yet. He's not been feeling well, but please, I'm begging you, if there's a God, please don't take him from us. One of my heroes. But he tweeted out for International Women's Day, he tweeted out a picture of the cover, and now I'm going to date myself. There was a trade back in the 70s when they made really thick trade paperbacks. One of them was called Origins of Marvel Comics.
I have it on my bookshelf.
Son of Origins, Bring on the Bad Guys, and the superhero women. And on the cover, it has a beautiful painting of these women walking towards the cover of the book. So walking towards us as you look at the cover. Red Sonja, Invisible. She was Invisible Girl back then. Hela, Ms. Marvel, Black Widow, and some other characters I can't remember. But the SJWs got upset because they said this body type should not be the norm in our society anymore. And yet, it's okay for Kim K to tweet out nude photos of herself, and I get called to task when I say that's not appropriate. Well, you're body shaming. Oh, so that's
what does that even mean?
So that's a SJW. We won't get into that. But my point is that I could see the SJWs if Captain Lorca, if he goes in on number one, being played by Sonequa Martin Green, it's going to blow up.
First of all, let's think about this for a moment. When have you ever seen a captain go in on number one? I've never seen Kirk go in on Spock. Never saw Picard go in on Riker when he's in his right mind, not when he was taken over by some alien deal. Now, I have seen Janeway smack around Chakotay a couple times, but that was a different dynamic. I don't recall Sisko smacking around Kira. So why would that happen?
Well, wait, Kira. Well, Kira wasn't his number one. She was.
Kira was second in command on that station.
Was she? Okay. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure there had to have been an episode where Picard went in on Riker.
Nope.
I know there have been episodes where Picard went in on Worf.
Oh, he had to straighten Worf out a few times, and so did Data, but he never got on Riker like that.
Well, but my point is, okay, whether or not there's been a precedent, I would want them to be able to, putting all race and gender aside, I would want them to feel they have the ability to write whatever story, dramatic structure they want. And so I could see one of the dramatic structures being where the first officer and the captain are at odds with each other.
Well, and the thing is, though, it's been established in this show. The first officer's job is to support the captain, but point out alternatives. Riker's done that, and Picard's like, nah, man, we're going to go this way. Riker's like, cool. I'm just voicing my concerns. And in a militaristic setting, in that hierarchy, and color kiss my ass, if Sonequa Green gets checked for bringing something to the captain, that's just, the commander knows that's going to happen. You know that when you bring in different, viewpoints, you may get checked.
The three of us know that.
Now the SJWs can bite me.
I'm
yes,
just
I
saying.
said that too.
Craig, what are your thoughts on this? I know it's a sensitive topic, but I want to hear your thoughts.
No, I'm not worried about it being sensitive. I don't even think it's sensitive. I just think it's people who would get upset about a conflict like that or something like that are going to be the outliers. It is a military ranking system, and in the military, if you're the command structure is there so that it doesn't matter who you are, what race you are, and if you're male or female. If your captain tells you to do something, then you do it. No questions asked.
See, I know where this is coming from with Q. See, Q's, is going back to the last rebooted Star Trek drivel, where Uhura, gave Kirk, a little bit of attitude, and you don't do that. That's what it is. Am I correct,
yes.
Q?
Well, no. No, I'm just saying that I could see some people getting in their feelings, not understanding the command structure. Maybe some new people come to this property and, they don't understand how it works.
Then they need to shut the up.
But
Keep that.
Can you imagine can you imagine a scene where Lorca says to the navigator, "You have the con," and we see him get out the captain's chair, go down to number one's quarters, and then maybe a compression of time, and then he's walking out of the quarters, straightening up his uniform. be on that 12 years.
Like we said in the beginning, this show has become X-rated today.
Yeah, 12 years of Starship Captain. Okay, I want to leave that alone. Listen,
to tell you the truth, I'm really still wondering how we are going to have a Star Trek where the captain is de-emphasized. And the number one is the main character. I've been thinking about this for a while. How do they tell that story? Is the captain is the captain even on the ship? Is he sort of caught in a transporter pattern buffer, perhaps, and they are able to rescue him from
again,
weird. So maybe the number one actually runs the ship. And the captain is there, but maybe he just talks to her occasionally, something like that. It's just weird how they're going to write that story.
Well, again, I would refer you to the episode we talked about in a previous show, Lower Decks. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I've seen it, but that was just one episode. Just compared to a whole series, it wouldn't be like that.
I can't go into detail how they would do it, but I could see it as a possibility. Like. In any, let's say any movie that involves a corporate structure, you don't always see the CEO, but you see it from the perspective of the office drones, or
right, yeah. But when you see the bridge of the ship, that's where the captain is.
Well, I'm sure they'll focus on the captain on the bridge, but maybe like on away missions and communications with other things will all go through number one, and number one will just inform the captain more out of courtesy instead of more out of seeking direction. Maybe she'll just have a lot of latitude.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Craig, your concerns are well founded because, I remember reading from, I don't know if it was TNG or maybe it was TNG. The production designer was like, they wanted to design a bridge that you would consider to be like your living room, and what that means is that the bridge is our home. So how do you get that same sense of Star Trek being your home, which Star Trek took place, I would say 80% of the time on the bridge? How do you do that when you de-emphasize the captain? So I understand your point.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to make another area of the ship the focal point. Like maybe
exactly.
I don't know where number one hangs out, but he's on the bridge. Number one's on the bridge too, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You raised a good point. But I'm interested by that. I want to see how they do it, and I hope they're successful at it.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, it's going to be a waiting game now. Hopefully we're going to see this show in the summertime, which I don't know. I think that's a bad idea Because, summer is when you got your blockbuster movies coming out. What do we got coming out, Big Sexy, real quick, this summer?
You caught me off guard. I don't know.
Oh. And you call yourself a geek? Well, I guess you don't call yourself a geek.
No,
We don't plan for the show. We just wing it. We just busk it.
Well, listen, we have a lot of stuff coming out this summer. We can't tell you what it is, but I know there's some big stuff coming out. So I don't know if this is I don't know if that's a good move. Maybe bring it out in the fall. I mean, I'd be willing to wait till the fall just so it can get as many eyes in front of it as possible. But we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. Now, before I forget, before we sign off, we have a belated happy birthday on our decks. And that would be Mr. Big Sexy himself, our chief engineer. So you just got promoted to chief engineer.
Oh, really? I'm no longer a lowly ensign.
Well, so when was your birthday, sir?
Birthday was Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, you want to tell us about it, or was it
was
it a Vegas type of thing, or it stays there?
It's been a lot of dining out. Thursday, one of my best friends is the DA of a neighboring county, and he's all, we're going out. So he and a few of the DAs out of the office who I know, we all went over to Martin's Steakhouse, which was great.
There you see, there you go. Big Sexy's balling. He's balling.
You asked me.
Martin's Steakhouse. You had to throw that in, right?
So
no. Here's what I'm going to say. You couldn't afford Ruth's Chris?
Ruth Chris is for lunch. Morton's is a little more upscale, but it's
wow.
good. And I love Ruth Chris. I have a table at Ruth Chris over here.
Oh,
so
listen to this guy.
But we go to Martin's, and apparently the DA had spoken to my girlfriend, and she dropped a big ass cake off over there, which was really nice. And the next night, a couple of lady friends took me out to sushi over at Crew downtown, which was interesting because I ran into a young lady who I knew from the hospital of all places, and she remembered me. And oh, hi, Mr. Wiggins. Hey, baby, how you doing? I didn't know who she was, and she's chatting me up. And then last night, friend comes in from Wisconsin. She wanted to go out, so we went out, and we dragged one of her idiot friends with us. But it was still great to see my friend from Wisconsin. And today, when I wrap this up, I got brunch. All
right. Well, we hope that idiot friend is not listening.
I don't give a damn.
But I like that. Big Sexy boy, he got in that captain's chair. He took over for a second. He told us all the details. But happy birthday, my man. That's a wonderful thing. You want to give us the how many years is this?
You already did, but it's 53.
To make it more complicated, you have to give us your birth date in stardate terms.
Oh, didn't work for a while. I don't know.
Well, happy birthday. And with that, we are going to beam out of here. But before we do, I, the captain, I have to correct a grave mistake that I made, an omission from the last episode. Now, believe it or not, let me just say this. Shout out to Daryl Benjamin. Daryl B. He appeared on our last episode. If you haven't listened to that, I highly recommend go check that out. That episode, we are closing in on 900 downloads, and it's only been up since March the 1st. It's March 12th. So that was a record episode for us. So thanks to Mr. Daryl B. We will have to have him back on. But during that episode, I shouted out some of our listeners. And I want to thank all of our listeners before I forget. But there was one name who has been a tried and true red shirt, and that is D'Angelo Garbarino. He got at me a little bit on the Facebook page, and he said, "Hey, nice shout outs there," because I forgot his name. And I said, "Oh, so sorry." So I want to make a point to shout out Mr. Garbarino. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Vinny Garbarino off Welcome Back,
see. Wow. First we were talking about race and gender. Now we're saying all names sound alike. That's not even right, Big Sexy. Come on now. But Now, shout out to Mr. Garbarino. Thank you for listening. Thank all of our listeners. And we will do it again in 2 weeks. See you then. Take care.
Bye.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that alarm that you hear in our opening means we're back. We're back as the Red Shirts. Let me do that.
Hey.
That was horrible. Let me do that again. I'm not. If one of you said I want to take over, I'd be like, okay. Red Shirts is not endorsed by Paramount Pictures, Viacom, or CBS. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Star Trek, the Star Trek logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Star Trek characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.